areas that are dark that end up looking dark when you're sick or if you've been crying. So dramatic. I feel like hi, welcome if you're new. If you're not and you're coming back, I love you. I feel like so today, this makeup tutorial is going to be makeup, obviously, it's a makeup tutorial, for when you've been crying, specifically. But it's gonna work well for when you're feeling like you know, no matter what. Maybe you didn't get any sleep. I don't know, maybe you've been sick. All of that, it's going to apply, okay? We're just gonna get right into it. So the first thing is, if you've been crying, you usually get like puffy. You know, I don't know about you, me personally, I get puffy on my upper lids. So this like whole upper eyelid will get like super puffy. Got a little bit more redness, and like this area of my eye is like really drooping down because it's a little puffy in here. So it's kind of like pushing this area forward. So the first thing is, if you get puffy in any of those areas, is grabbing a serum. I'm using the collagen peptide one from the Inky List. But like any serum, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Like something hydrating. You could use an oil, you could even use a moisturizer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a serum. You could also do this in the shower with water, if that's all you've got. So you just want something that's going to like allow your fingers to glide over your eyes or wherever the puffy area is. So I'm gonna put the serum on my eyelids to help and express? Ooh, what word do I wanna use there? They're all kind of gross. Let's just say break up. Break up that fluid in my eyelid that has built up. So what I like to do is start here, and I use like a gentle pressure and then just kind of push it out. And you can kind of feel, like when you do that, you can literally feel the fluid in, like the built up fluid in your eyelids moving. It's so awful. I hate it. But you don't want to be like tugging on your skin too hard, which is why I want the serum. So I'm just going to go back and forth really, really slowly. So you just kind of want to do that until you made some progress. You'll feel and see like a little bit, some of that swelling will have dissipated. Next up, usually, I mean, you can tell from my face right now, my dark circles are darker. My skin is just like a little bit lifeless, shall we say. So the next thing that I'm going to do is hydrate. You need to hydrate. So I'm going to do a sheet mask. I'm going to use this one, the vitamin C one from Sephora. It doesn't matter. Anything. Honestly, you just need something that's going to sit on your skin for a little while and permeate. When it doesn't come with a little like divider thing so it doesn't stick to itself, it's like such a mess. Ooh, why is it so cold? Why is it so cold? Okay, if any other areas of your face get puffy when you've been crying, or if you've been sick, or if you don't sleep well, then you can use like one of those facial rollers. I don't really use them that much because I don't typically get puffy anywhere but like my eyelids. But this would be the time for that. Now, typically when I do this, I'm doing it while I'm doing something else. So I would be sheet masking while I'm like doing my hair or whatever else I do. That was loud. I would say I usually let it sit for like at least 10 minutes, you know, but if you've only got 5, that's totally fine. You just need a minute. You just need a minute, all right? When you've been crying, when you feel like shit, but you have to be somewhere and you don't want to look the way you feel, you need to give yourself a minute, okay? If you don't have the time to give yourself a minute, call in sick, girl. Stay home. Stay home, just don't even go. That's what I would do. I'm just watching TikTok with no sound on, because that's how I watch it. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, maybe just under, it's been like 9, but like, I gotta move on. So I'm gonna remove sheet mask. I have a warm bowl of water here, and you can like pat in the serum, but personally I feel like sometimes it can interact with my makeup weird, so I'm just gonna use this makeup eraser cloth, and I'm gonna gently pat the serum away. Trust me when I say, when you do this step, it makes such a huge difference in your makeup. Just like that added hydration is such a big deal. While my skin is still damp and like got a little bit of that serum, I'm gonna go in with the Tatcha water cream. I've gone back to this recently. Any moisturizer, whatever your daily moisturizer in, it doesn't have to be Tatcha, it doesn't have to be expensive. I just really like the way this makes my skin look. Now, when you're applying your moisturizer, make sure that you are paying special attention to areas of your face that have a lot of redness, areas that you're gonna need to apply a little bit more coverage, areas that might be dry. Make sure you get the tip of your nose if you've been blowing your nose. You know, that's the worst when that looks all dried and crusty. Okay, if you're not a person who typically color corrects, I'm a dark circle girl. I never go a day without, that's not true. But most of the time I color correct. This might be the time. You just want to keep in mind that like when you're crying, your eyes, all around your face, everything is just like the veins are inflamed. Okay, and that's basically what this is. It's veins underneath your skin. So if they're gonna show extra, you're gonna look extra dark, okay? A little more sunken than usual. So I'm gonna make a little concoction. I've got the NARS Under Eye Corrector. This is in the shade Light. This is a really, really nice peachy color for my skin tone. However, it's kind of a liquidy formula and it can sheer out pretty easily. So I'm going to mix that with a heavier concealer. This is the Jekka Black concealer in number 2, which is a slightly darker concealer than I use to conceal underneath my eyes. But it's so full coverage, like it's such a full coverage formula. So I'm just going to mix those products together. I'm using the Sigma E24 brush and I'm gonna paint this. I mean, not paint, I'm gonna, what, paint? Yeah, sure, I'm painting underneath my eyes. Now, a lot of the time when I color correct, I just focus on the hollow and like a little bit here. I really wanna bring that in here because for me, if I've been crying, this area gets so dark. So I'm gonna make sure that I am brightening that area with that nice warmth. So when I go in with my concealer, that is a little bit lighter, you don't end up getting that like gross gray cast. Okay, now if you don't have super crepey under eyes like I do, I've got a lot of lines going on up in here, you can take it all the way up to your lash line. I don't do that and it upsets a lot of people, but the reason for that is because I get creasing if I bring it up into my creases. So I avoid that. We're gonna look fabulous at the end of this, okay? Mark my freaking words. Mark them. Something that you wanna keep in mind is you don't want to overpower your skin with super heavy, matte, full coverage, unless you're like ridiculously oily, you know, and you're used to using those products. But when you've been crying, if you've been sick, typically your skin looks a little bit like dehydrated, and using really, really heavy full coverage products are just going to like overwhelm it. It's like when you have dry skin, you have a dry patch of skin and you try to just cover it up with like a ton of full coverage and then it ends up getting all like cakey and creasy and flaky. Like we don't want that to happen because we already feel like shit, okay? We're not trying to look like it too. Okay. For foundation, I'm gonna try this new one. This is the Skin Balancing Foundation from Smashbox. I just got this yesterday from them. This is in the shade F30N, which I think is a little bit, it's like maybe a half a shade too dark and leaning a little bit in an orangey direction, but that's okay. That extra like warmth from that color, I think is actually going to help this situation. I don't wanna use a foundation that's gonna be too light, because like, if you're sick, if you've been crying, chances are you're looking paler than usual. So a little extra warmth, not a bad thing. So I'm gonna apply this with my damp sponge, which needs to be rehydrated. So a little Fix Plus. I'm gonna start in the center of my face. You know the deal. I mean, if you're new, maybe you don't. Most of you do though, I think. So I wanna make sure that I'm really covering any of those red areas, veiny areas. Ew. Veiny areas? I don't like that. Veiny areas. Ugh, stop saying it. I'm slowly just going to build up that coverage. Can you see that like there's like a teeny bit of peach in this foundation compared to my skin tone? which is a little bit more on the yellowy green side, but it just brought like a little bit of life to the face. So it's kind of nice to have those options. If you ever buy a foundation that's like a little bit too warm for you, hold on to it because you might need it. Okay, I like that foundation. That's really nice. The color worked really, really well to bring a little bit of life to my face. I really enjoyed the formula as well. All right, moving on. Also from Smashbox for concealer, I'm going to be using the Halo Healthy Glow 4-in-1 Perfecting Pen. I'm going to use this to brighten my under eyes. I always focus it on the side of my nose because I like to kind of narrow that area at first. So like, I'll put it here and out here to begin with, and then a little bit around my nose, just because that's where I get that redness. Put a little bit right there. I'm actually gonna try this new brush too. This is the Make Beauty Blender brush, which I don't know what it's to blend, but what it's to blend. I don't know what it's to blend, but I'm gonna blend my concealer with it because it seems like it'd be good for that. Yep, it's good for that. Oh, sorry, the concealer was in shade. Oh, you know what? It doesn't say. I took it out of the box and I threw the box away. That's what it was. It's kind of annoying. I don't know. It might be like a more neutrally color. I don't know. It's giving me a little bit more yellow though, so I don't know. So just patting this gently over that color corrector. I don't want to disturb the color corrector and then bring, oh, you know what? I'm not big on brushes, but I like this brush. Bringing this in here to brighten up this area. It's also a very nice formula. Pretty lightweight, but it offers nice coverage. Good, that was a good color for me, whatever color it may be. If I can find the box, I'll let you know. Okay, chances are, if you've been sick or crying, your eyelids have a lot of veins on them. So I'm just gonna take a teeny bit of this onto my eyelids to help cancel out that redness. We're gonna come back to the eyes, but before I go in with any powders or anything, I just wanna do this step. You know I love to contour, but when you've been sick or if you've been crying, your face can kind of tend to look a little bit like, ugh, you know what I mean? You just kind of feel, ugh. I'm gonna start off with bronzer. We need to like brighten, we need to lift. I'm gonna start with bronzer so that I don't overdo it with the contour. So I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty Power Boost bronzer stick in the shade, or is the shade name Power Boost? Dude, I don't know, it's this one. It's always the lightest one because I'm white. I'm gonna pick this up with my brush. I'm gonna start with my forehead. That was way too much, holy crap. Chill, dude, chill. Create a little bit of warmth. Come on, you guys know bronzer, you know bronzer. You know what's up. Okay, so I'm going in with bronzer first because I obviously want to create shape to the face, but I don't want to make my face look older than it needs to, especially when you've been crying or if you've been sick. You're exhausted, okay? You don't have the energy, all right, to look happy. So I don't want to contribute to too many cool tones on the face, if that makes sense. When you go in with too much contour, especially if you have been, you know, just not feeling it, not feeling well, it can end up like making you look a little extra ill, you know? So I'm gonna do the majority of my sculpting with this, and then we'll go in with a contour just to kind of like refine, a little bit of refinement. I'm being haphazard around these platinum edges, dude. What are you doing? I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just really lightly around the jawline. All right, now to contour, I'm gonna use Anastasia Beverly Hills Fawn. So once again, I'm gonna use that same brush. You know the brush. And I'm just gonna pick this up straight from the stick and just a little refinement. So anywhere where I just feel like, oh, I just wanna like pop a little something right in here. And if you already have like flawless cheekbones and bone structure and you don't contour, you just use bronzer, then like good for you, dude. You just keep doing you. Okay. I'll be over here. I'll be over here. Okay, I'm just doing like the very bottom of my lip. A little bit above. I'm keeping everything light today. I've been exploring a new nose contour technique, and I will update you if I have decided it's successful. Okay, for blush, I'm going to use Rare Beauty. This is Bliss, which I believe is the lightest shade. I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. You can see there's a theme here. We're focusing on cream products, okay? I'm going to mix a little, tiny little drop, tiny little drop, like that much of my foundation. Mixing that up on the back of my hand. So I'm just lightening it a little bit. I'm going to pick that up with my sponge. Pop that on the top of the cheekbone. I don't want to take it too close to the eye. I basically just want to focus it like right here. Okay, I did my brows off camera because they're brows. You know what I mean? So now I'm going to set underneath my eyes. I'm going to use the tiniest amount of what you already know. e.l.f. Hello Glow Powder. Because you know why. You know why. Because it has a little tiny bit of pearl. So it doesn't make you look crepey. Now I'm going to use even less than usual, okay? Really topping off my brush. I want to make sure that I'm crease free. I'm just using this to make sure that that concealer goes nowhere. Take a teeny bit down the side of my nose and then just kind of buff that out. Bit of that powder. Make sure this is all blended out. I'm just going to set that concealer. All right, I have these little concealer pencils, sticks from Bling Glow. So for the tip of my chin where I've got this little spot, I'm just gonna use one. It's a pretty light area. And then for this area, because I contoured it, I'm gonna use 2 medium. And then right in the center, I'm gonna go in with 1. Then I'm using my little Refer 23 brush, and I'm just going to pat gently around the edges. I need to glow. I'm gonna go in with Becca. Becca Champagne Pop. I don't know why I can't remember the name of this anymore. I'm gonna bring it on the top of the cheekbone, all over the blush, up in the C shape, just above the temple. Even though I haven't even done my eyes yet, just the skin in general looks so healthy and beautiful that, like, would you even know that I was crying? Or that I've been sick for like 10 days? Maybe from the slight congestion you can hear in my voice, but nothing else, okay? Not the outer appearance. Appearance. All right, let's do the eyes. Let's get to the eyes, dude. Jeez. Okay, so our objective for the eyes, especially if it's dark, all right? If you're looking a little sunken, you want to maintain brightness in the inner corner, okay? And especially if you have like heavier lids, like obviously my eyelids get puffy, you want to push that area back in space, okay? So I recently received a package from Make Beauty. These are the eye shaping stylos, okay? These are all essentially like contour shades for the eyes. Cool tone to warm tone. Listen, we spent so much time on this face to make it look nice and not like dehydrated and horrible. The eyes I want done. I want quick, but I also want it to look nice, okay? So I'm going to go in, what color is this? Altitude. So I just swatched it. This is Altitude right here. This is the color Shore. These are beautiful contour shades. I'm avoiding super warm colors for my eyes because my eyes get very red when I cry. So I'm not trying to make them look any more red. So I'm going to go in with, I'm gonna have a blending brush ready. This is my Refer 13 brush. But what I'm gonna do is place this above the crease. So I'm gonna use this to shape the eye. I wanna start by pushing this area back in space because it tends to come down. These are super nice, very, very creamy. So going around the eye socket, I'm really going to push that area back in space. Also with this color, what I want to do is bring this on my lower lash line to once again push this area back in space so that my under eye does not look as sunken. All the while, I am avoiding the inner part of my eye. Now I'm going to build that up a little bit with Sonar, which is a little bit darker, a little bit warmer slightly, but it's not too warm. I'm going to focus this up and out, so only like in this area. So now you can see that pushing this area back really makes the lid come forward. Now, depending on how puffy your eyes are, you might not want that. So if your eyelids are still puffy, you want to bring this close to the lash line. Bring a dark color close to the lash line. So I'm not covering my lid. You could totally like just cover your lid completely and do like just all over the lid and then blend up a little bit. I'm choosing not to do that today because I want to create a little bit of shape to the eye rather than just a smoky eye. And then I'm going to bring that only here on the lower lash line, no lower than that, and then connecting it up. So I want to lift the eyes up so that they are not looking droopy. So you can already see a pretty big difference. This looks very natural, especially these colors, like just work beautifully together. You can see that we created a little bit of shape to the actual eye socket. We're kind of like restructuring the eye right now because on this eye, because this is light and this is light, you can kind of see that they're just being like dragged down quite a bit. You can build this up as much as you want. In the area that seems to be the most puffy, you're gonna wanna make that like the darkest area because it's going to help prevent it from looking puffy. Think about like a sphere, the highlight, you know? It makes it look like it's coming forward when you have that highlight and then it's darker along the edges. So you kind of want to think the opposite. You want to remove that highlight by placing a slightly darker shade there. Now, I don't want this to just be boring though. Like you could just stop here and apply, you know, mascara or whatever, but I want to be kind of fun. So I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow from Velour Cosmetics. This is Nightfall, Opal Multichrome Pressed. It just looks white, but it's really beautiful. And I'm going to focus this on the inner part, the lid. Once again, avoiding any like warm red or peaches. Plus this just like complements my top. Whatever's left over into that like naked area between the crease and the lash line. Remember, you're wanting to keep this area of your eye nice and open so it doesn't look dark and sunken. So just make sure that you're using something that's gonna like be light reflecting and lighter than, you know, these shades that you put down. Preferably your skin tone or like a shade lighter. Now, if your lash line is still looking like it's going down a little bit and you don't like that, maybe your eyes are still looking a little bit droopy, you can apply a tiny bit of eyeliner right at the outer corner of your eye. I'm gonna use the brown eyeliner from Makeup by Mario. Just going to dot it on the outer part. So kind of just like thinking of my lash line as if I'm creating a line going straight out rather than it dipping down. I'm just going to use the little brush that's in here to pat that into the lash line. So I'm not creating a wing, I'm not like making it super smoky, I'm literally just kind of defining, deepening up the outer part of that lash line. And then I'm just going to pat and fade. Okay, you see that difference? So the placement of those lights and darks are so important, just like in doing your makeup in general, but when you're sick, especially, or if you've been crying and you have puffy or red areas of your face, it makes a gigantic difference. All right, before mascara, last little step, another tip that you can do, depending on your eye shape and what you're going for, you can use a nude eyeliner. You can place it all in your waterline. I don't want to do that because I don't want to make my eyes look even more rounded. I'm trying to make them look like sultry a little bit. What I'm going to do is place it right here in the outer part of my waterline, just there, and then I'm gonna kind of extend it out. Just like that. So it kind of helps to open up your eyes, but it also like adds a little bit of that like fox eye kind of lift to them. So it's one way to make your eyes look a little bit more like bright and open without making them look like too rounded, if that's something that you're concerned about. For mascara, I'm going to use the Give Beauty for my lower lash line. And for the lower lash line, I'm just going to focus on like that outer half. So fading it gently, like really, really light application in the very center, but mostly focusing everything on the outer half of the lashes and bringing them a little bit like angled out. And then for my upper lashes, I'm going to curl with my rougher lash curler and apply my Clio Kill Lash to begin with. So I'm just going to apply one coat of the Clio Kill Lash, again focusing on the very outer corner. I'm gonna wait for that waterproof mascara to set. And for my lips, lips is up to you, basically. It's kind of like the least affected area, but I kind of feel like in keeping with everything being very like light and pretty, a little lip liner and a gloss probably. So I'm gonna use the NYX Line Loud lip liner. This is in the shade Global Citizen. Wait, is this too warm? It might be. It's a little too warm. Just kidding, I'm gonna use Nude Suede Shoes, also from NYX. And I'm gonna go in with this gloss from Citizen Cosmetics. So this is the Nudiversal Lip Duo. I'm gonna go in with the lip gloss. This one is in the shade 09 Fez. It looks like just like a regular old doe foot, but it's very like flexible. Very nice. Now that my upper lashes are dry, I'm going to go in with the Buxom mascara. This is the Extrovert mascara. I'm just gonna thicken up these lashes a bit. All right guys, this is the finished makeup look. What do we think? Thoughts? Thoughts? I'd say we look pretty healthy and happy right now. Even if we don't feel it, we look it, okay? Key takeaways. Put prep into your skin. It's always important for makeup, but especially when you have been sick, if you've been crying, your skin's dehydrated, okay? You don't look your best, your veins are popping, all right? You got color, you got marks. Marks? You got discoloration. Giving yourself that extra time, even if it's just 5 minutes to do a sheet mask, makes such a big difference in the overall way that your skin is gonna look. You also wanna consider things like warmth in your skin. So using that foundation that might be a little extra peachy or a little bit extra orange even. You can mix it in with your usual foundation. You just wanna make sure that you're not using a foundation that's gonna be way too light. Same with concealer. You don't wanna be brightening way too much. You don't wanna be using like such heavy coverage. You wanna favor your bronzer over your contour. You wanna make sure you're applying blush. Highlighter just helps. You know, it gives you that glow, like you look fabulous. And then in terms of your eyes, any areas that are puffy, you wanna make them dark. If they're coming forward, you wanna make them dark. You wanna push them back in space. And any areas that end up looking extra dark, which is for me in here, you wanna keep that light. So light reflection is really nice. Boo, boo, can you stop for a second? Come here, come here. Come here. If you're gonna make noise, come say hi to the people. You want dinner already? It's a little early, but this is Boo. She's a troublemaker. Just keep in mind that you want to keep areas that are dark, that end up looking dark when you're sick or if you've been crying. Jesus. So dramatic. I don't remember what I was saying. Keep the dark, keep things that look dark light and keep things that look light dark. you know, balance. Yeah, there are plenty of variations, like the eyes are really up to you, but those lights and darks are really important, so just keep them in mind. Thanks guys, hope that this helped. If it did, then, you know, let me know. And subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, like. It just helps me out, even though it's like so annoying. It just helps me. And if you love me, you'll do it. Because it's kind of easy. Just saying. All right, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.